It's Thursday, and the gang's all here. Amadeus is back from assignment. Sean is back from assignment, and I'm just here. So, anyway, boys, good to have you back. What about yesterday? Man City just decided, let's just dispose of this, little pesky team and become the inside track to the title.
Yeah, Arsenal. They blew the title, a month ago. When they drew 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what game that was, to be honest. Arsenal still leads the table, by the way. They're still 2 points clear, but they have played two more matches.
Mm-hmm.
They threw it away when they drew 2-2 with Liverpool. They're up 2-0. They let Liverpool come back. They gave Liverpool life, which is maybe even more unforgivable. Then they threw it away again against West Ham and really should have lost that game. The Southampton game last week, while it was admirable that they came back and, tied at 3-3, it wasn't enough. So 3 points from their last 12 isn't good enough. Because before that, they hadn't lost. Since City last beat them. They had won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches in a row, but you can't be you have to be perfect against Manchester City. You just can't you can't slip up here. If they would have won any of these games, if they would have won these games that they lost against Liverpool or drew against Liverpool and West Ham and Southampton, 6 more points even, or even, 2 of them, and lost yesterday, I still think they would have won the title. But now they're not gonna. They got a better chance to finish third than they do winning, and they're not finishing either.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Arsenal win the title this year. I mean, it's been dominated by Manchester City so long, but yeah, you nailed it. It was they started to unravel right at the Liverpool match, and it's been their defense. If you look, they've been giving up 2 goals in every game. They found themselves down very early against the worst team in the Premier League, Southampton. So you can't have those kind of defensive mistakes. And the way Man City's just been rolling over teams 2-0, 6-0, 4-1, 7-0. It was very obvious what was going to happen yesterday.
Well, they put a nail in it, and now, Sean, from your standpoint, there was some interesting news out that Man City and Man United, who are playing for the FA Cup later, it was in June, I guess. There's a problem. There's a train strike.
Yeah, you know what? It may end up being the best thing that happens. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's so far out now. I mean, they have. If I was the FA, I would say that's fine. You guys have your little strike in London, and we'll move the game and we'll play at Villa Park, or maybe it doesn't. Obviously doesn't hold as many people, or we'll play it. I mean, the best would be to play it at Anfield. That would be great. Or Old Trafford holds the most, but whatever.
They're not going to play. I mean, they wouldn't play it give home field advantage to.
No, but I mean, they could do it at Villa Park.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be honest, look, I don't care if the game's at the Etihad or not. I mean, as long as it's 50-50 in the stands, I mean, or whatever, it's fine.
Sure.
But the problem is going to be with the people, getting in, obviously. But if they had it at Anfield or something like this in a neutral site or Villa Park, I don't think the people from the north would complain. It's a joke. Look, they've been doing these strikes. They've, and for years. I mean, this is good. No, look, I think like this is the showpiece event of the thing. This is how you get people to turn sentiment against you. Like you can't do that stuff, I just think you have a chance to do this, and you want to strike on the day when everyone's coming down and now there's no trains, and now you're costing people a lot of money because they got to get hotel rooms and all this stuff. I mean, it's not, you're trying to do something to help the working people, and at the same time you're hurting the working people. So I just think that's really kind of I don't know. It's just short sighted to me. But whatever. If they end up moving it to the north, maybe that's the best thing to happen. Wembley's a disaster to get. It's a great place, but it's a pain in the ass to get to. It's a pain in the ass to get out of after the match. After the match ends, you're sitting in an hour. It takes you an hour to walk out of the stadium to get to the train station, and it's literally a half a mile walk. So, I mean, it's a nightmare. But whatever. If they want to shoot themselves in the foot, maybe they move the game.
So no, that's a possibility. But still, I mean, they can't have it in London because there's still a train strike. So it would have to be taken out, right?
Yeah, it would have to be taken, somewhere. I mean, it's stupid too. Like, I mean, for nothing. I mean, these other, Copa del Rey and these other tournaments. I mean, they have it. It's not always in wherever they move it around. I mean, it doesn't have to be at Wembley. It can be. I mean, it wasn't at Wembley for a while. It was at that. It was in Wales when they were building the new Wembley. So, I mean, you put it in. You put it in Newcastle. That's a pain too. But you got Everton, you got Leeds, you got all these places all right here. I mean, fantastic. It would be at Leeds. That would be interesting, and the way Leeds and Manchester hate each other. But you got all these stadiums right there, and the fans wouldn't have to travel.
We should make it real simple. That would be a good thing. So we'll have to see how that all works out. Now today, in the Premier League, we've got Everton and Newcastle, Southampton and Bournemouth, and then Tottenham, and your boys, Manchester United. So we got 3 games that are rather interesting on the docket today.
Yeah, Amadeus. I mean, which one do you think is the best one for people here?
Well, I mean, the Tottenham Manchester United match, obviously, it's probably the 2 best teams playing. I mean, obviously Newcastle's good, but Everton isn't. So you get 2 top 10 teams. Like, I don't know, Tottenham's not terrible. I guess they're still in the top 7, but yeah, you get two top tier teams. Well, we'll use those for Tottenham, but I mean, your United's still in the top 4. But yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. You're getting value no matter what side you take. Obviously, you got, I think, United is a slight favorite at plus 150. I think it was the last time I saw, and Tottenham at the plus 180. But it's going to be an interesting match, the way your Man United has dominated them in previous matches.
Yeah. Hopefully, I hope they can dominate him one more time.
Is Harry Maguire starting though? Because he might just give away the match for you if he is.
I would probably guess they'd play Shaw there, like they did at the weekend. I mean, Lindelof was unbelievable at the weekend. I'm not his biggest fan, and I've criticized him a bunch, but he did look very good without that walking disaster next to him. So, with Wan-Bissaka, to me, it would be Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Shaw, and Dalot on the left, like they did. They've played well when those guys have played. I mean, they have some clean sheets. They shut Brighton down for 120 minutes at the weekend. So I would probably do that. The key is if Bruno Fernandes plays. I mean, she's never missed a game, so I'm sure he's going to play. But they're starting to get some players back now. They're getting a little healthier, so it just they can't get a break when they playing these coaches with they're always playing coaches that get. Oh, here we go. Bruno Fernandes starts for Manchester United. Somebody saying just don't rush him back. What do you mean just don't rush him back? He never missed the game. He's not rushing back from anything. So
you can't rush back if you didn't go.
Yeah, these guys, man. That's big that he's playing. So Luke Shaw and Victor Lindelof start at the back. No Harry Maguire. So
okay, that's a plus for you guys.
Maybe Fred is starting. Anthony might be starting. Look, I just don't know what you're going to get from Tottenham. I mean, they're just so bad the other day. Like, just so they after the third goal, they kind of quit. And
it's only 8 minutes in.
Hugo Lloris is fighting in the clubhouse. If you're fighting in the locker room at halftime with the coaches and
honestly though, Lloris, like, I've never found a good goalie personally. Every time I look at the French national team, I always say to myself, you don't have a better goalie somewhere.
Yeah, Mignon, the guy, the Inter keeper, he was hurt. That's why they lost the World. If I think if he plays, they win the World Cup. Yeah,
probably.
Lloris is finished. Yes.
Yeah. It's never been. I don't know. Same with, like, I don't want to knock him because he's not a bad goalie, but Jordan Pickford is another one where I always, I look at England and I'm like, you guys don't have a better goalie. Like, if Pickford was really that good, he wouldn't still be on Everton.
I think PLD is rooting today for Manchester United because he needs his team to climb the table there. I think that's my guy there. I think he's a Villa fan. I think that's him. We do. Southgate picks favorites. Yep. Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, he benches, like, Foden just because he doesn't like him. He's probably one of your best players.
We have to beat them. He wants them. Look, I think you'll finish ahead of Tottenham anyway. I think Liverpool finishes ahead of Tottenham. I said it. I think I said it.
You said it the other day.
Yeah, I thought Tottenham would. I think there's a better chance Tottenham finishes outside of the European places than they do right now. Than they finish in top 4, and they could fall to 7th. It just depends on what Brighton does. This Brighton season could kind of lose steam here. I think Villa finishes inside the Europa League places. So, it's really just whether or not, Villa played, the extra game, but, we'll see.
Villa's been the hottest team in the Premier League, and they only have 5 matches to go. So if they can and plus they're not playing in extra matches too. They haven't really played in extra matches all year. So that's been huge for them. It's always just focus on the next Premier League match, 1 week at a time. There's obviously the odd midweek match in there, but yeah, they're a team that all you got to do is focus for 5 more matches. You can see yourself in 5th place by the end of the year.
If United beat them badly tonight, then Spurs slide the rest of the season and we sneak 7th. Maybe 6th. We'll see. I think Liverpool has a pretty easy schedule once again. I think they get high 60s in the points. Tottenham, Liverpool, I think, is a massive, massive game on the weekend. I mean, I think if Tottenham could kind of derail that, a draw would be great on the weekend. But, I think that would be interesting. But, yeah, I think Tottenham is in a lot of trouble here.
And it's been a brutal schedule for them because first you had obviously they robbed Brighton was their last win, but ever since that match, they collapsed at home against Bournemouth, bottom half team in the table. Then you go and get slapped on the road by Newcastle, and now you have a midweek match against United. Plus, you got to see Liverpool on Sunday. So it's been a brutal stretch for this Tottenham team. That's for sure.
It's not been fun.
Hopefully it continues.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they got to stop the bleeding, whether it's today or against Liverpool. They need to use one of these matches to try and gain some momentum. If they're going to, that that's a different story. But that's the thing, right? Like they can score goals, but their defense has been so bad. They need to fix their defense.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Foxy said it best one time in the chat where this is a team where they haven't had their manager for a while and they're playing with absolutely no heart.
Any thoughts about the English Championship today with Rotherham and Cardiff?
Which game? The championship? Let me see.
Got a team from Wales in there, buddy.
I think it's a.
We also have Coppa Italia going on.
I think it's kind of a Cardiff is. They're still near the relegation zone. Rotherham, same thing, 46 points. A winner would probably be safe. But Reading, Blackpool, and Wigan have already played more games than them. So I still and Huddersfield Town's not very good. So I probably both stay up. But Burnley's going up. Sheffield United is going up. We already know those two. And then Luton Town's going to be probably third. Middlesbrough's going to be fourth. And then the battle's going to be for the championship.
What do you think, Amadeus, in Italy with the Coppa Italia?
Draw.
I think that tie is over. Cremonese is down 2-0 on aggregate. And,
yes.
I know they've upset some teams along the way already. I think they beat out Roma, and I forget. They beat out another giant, but I don't know. This Fiorentina again. Fiorentina is like Aston Villa. They've been one of the hottest teams in Italy over the last few weeks. They're crushing every competition they play in. Conference League, Serie A, it doesn't really matter. They just went through a little bit of a stretch in Serie A where they weren't necessarily losing, but they were scoreless draws. But this is one where I really think the tie is over. Fiorentina will probably still win because from what I've seen from them in the Conference League, they don't really care if they have a 3-goal lead from the first leg. They just go for it anyway. The only way they lose this match and actually get eliminated from the Coppa Italia is if they're so focused on winning the Conference League. But this is a team
so far away though. That game's on for 2 weeks, so
that's what I mean, right? Like they got a little bit of time before that, and this is a team where they started off the season not great, but now they have a chance. You could win the Conference League, you could win Coppa Italia, and still finish in a Europa League spot, even though you don't really need to if you win one of those competitions. But you still get to say we were a top 7 team in Italy. So I think they have a lot of motivation to go and win the Coppa Italia, especially with it's going to be Inter Milan in the final, and they have Champions League to worry about. So if Fiorentina gets through, they definitely know that they have a chance against this Inter Milan team that's been playing a lot of matches lately.
Here's the lineup for
Manchester. A lot of extra matches.
Manchester United: Marcus Rashford up top, Jason Sanchez, Bruno Fernandes, Antony, Eriksen, Casemiro, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Shaw, Dalot, De Gea. So on the bench, you got Martial, Mannequin, Sabitzer, Fred.
And Sabitzer doesn't get enough credit. I think he's like one of your better players.
May score some goals. Garnacho is going to be back soon, although he's not going to be there for the final. He's going to be playing with the U20s. Varane should be back soon. McTominay might be back soon. Martinez is out for the season. So they're going to have, for the final, they're going to have, they should be relatively healthy, but, we'll see. Has everyone shown less desire and effort than Martial? Certainly not Lucas. Our guy Lucas. No, look, man, this guy, man.
I remember you were like ragging on him so hard.
Yeah.
When he was
lazy,
injured,
man. He's just
and
lazy.
then it got to a point where like you were so depleted, you're like, we just need Martial back. And then now that he's back, you remember exactly why you didn't want him.
Why wasn't on your top list? Oh man.
It just needs to, I don't know. It just needs to show a little more so much talent wasted. Yeah, exactly. Some players play through little injuries. I forget who the guy was with the Yankees. The Yankees had the guy they got from the Red Sox, the outfielder, and like Ellsbury, he would never play through injuries. Like any little injury, never play.
Kobe Ellsbury, yeah.
These other guys were playing and like, yeah.
Their limbs are hanging off.
Bruno Fernandez, his ankle's this big, and he's going to go out there and play because he's the captain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy. We just got to hope.
Playing hurt.
Yeah, we just got to hope De Gea doesn't have a clanker.
Man, he can be.
Lloris
sometimes.
Lloris is benched. So
Fraser Forster's in net.
Yeah, they have Forster, Lenglet, Romero, Dyer back. They have a back five with Pedro Porro and Perisic.
A back five.
So this is what they did the other day.
Oh man, they're scared.
Oliver Skip and Højbjerg in midfield. Richarlison, Son, and
Richarlison gets the start. Yeah, see, they not liking, I guess, Kulusevski the way he's been playing.
Yeah. That team stinks, by the way.
Yeah, it does. Well, Kane's not going to be there. What about Son? When does his contract expire? I actually don't know. Because that whole team is going to implode. Like I'd be shocked if he stays. Kulusevski, Richarlison, all those guys are going to leave when they have a chance.
2025.
20. Man, he's locked in, eh?
Yeah, he is locked in.
So 2 more. He's got 2 more years.
Yeah. Okay. So not terrible, but still.
Yeah, it won't be a back.
Kane's going to be gone.
Won't be a flat bag. It's 3-5-2. 5-3-2 in defense.
Still, though, I always hate to see 5 defense because that just tells me, you gave up 6 goals in the last round and just scared. Your defense is bad.
He tried to change the formation. He tried to change the formation before that game, and they absolutely got blown up, and they changed it back. And 20 minutes into the game, it was 5-0. They ended up changing it back. But
I remember that they did take Lloris off at halftime in that game. I didn't think it was going to carry over into this one, but I don't think Fraser Forster was any better. Like, he still gave up a goal in the second half. Right after Tottenham got that one to give them life.
There you go. Only takes one, right?
Yeah.
At the right time.
Only takes one, and the next 4 come just like
right. Oops. Yeah. There we go. By the way, quick update on the scores for those of you interested. Baseball in the 7th, Pirates continue to roll. They're beating the Dodgers by a score 6-2. Phillies down the street from where Sean is at the moment, beating the Mariners 1-0. That game is in the middle of the 6th, and just started mid first. Padres, Cubbies on the south side, on the north side, excuse me, and that game is scoreless. So, and the Braves
got Pirates team is pretty wild.
Yeah, it's wild. Totally wild.
You know what? Rye Cape had the over for their season wins total.
Well, he's going to cash in.
Yeah, he's man. They're off. What are they now? Like 15-8 or something? They're off to like a hot start.
Second, hold on. It's
they're almost like.
I'm here for statistics.
I mean, they're no Rays, but.
Well, the Rays got blanked twice in a row by Houston.
Yeah, I know, right? I guess
20-5. Here's a scary one. Baltimore 16-8.
Yeah, they're gonna be good.
And the Jays are 16-9. That's not a bad result. Yeah. Okay. Now you were asking about the Buccos.
The Pirates, yeah.
16-8.
So yeah, like what is that? Like the Orioles then?
Yeah, a little better. And Milwaukee's hanging tight. They're 16-9, a game off the pace.
Yeah, they got off to that hot start. They're starting to regress into the team we thought they were going to be.
Yeah, you are who your record says you are. Texas, for the moment, is leading the West, and Houston's in second place. Minnesota's leading the AL Central with Cleveland in second place. the Rays and the Orioles, and down in the National League, it's the Braves. 3 games clear of the Mets, and Pittsburgh one game clear of Milwaukee, and Arizona and the Dodgers are a half game difference. But that could be a game depending upon what happens at PNC Park as it goes on. So there's your afternoon baseball scoreboard. For those of you interested.
Bill says, hit the parlay. Holland made me wait. You like Southampton.
You just needed him to take the hair down, Bill. That's all you needed. You just needed the hair to come out. And then the Holland showed up.
Yeah.
Bill, I don't like that game, to be honest. I would actually side with Bournemouth. I think that's a bad game to play, but I don't know. I don't have a feel for that game. I think Newcastle wins. Everton is in a lot of trouble. And I don't, United, I always think they're going to win, but who the hell knows with them? But it's a decent lineup. So I don't know. I think you talked on the other show about it, like Southampton, Bournemouth, not a huge feel for that game.
Yeah, again, right? Like there's better games to bet. That's one of those games where, we got a 1-800 number you can call if you really want to bet that one. There's 2 better games on the board, but yeah, it's more like a feel. You got 2 teams in the bottom half of the table that haven't been great all year.
Paul liked billing shots on target over a half at plus money and over 1.5 shots overall at plus money as well. That was his plays for that game and for the day. Those were his 2 favorite plays, Bill. It's probably, Bill, I would say that's probably a better bet. I think Bournemouth's probably going to get a goal somewhere. Southampton has to do something. This is, they're down to the final 6 games here. I mean, they're if they could ever win a game, I mean, they'd only be a couple points back of safety. So, but I just, they've just been so bad for so long. I mean, I just don't see how they're going to win a game anywhere. I'm not confident that they will, but they have scored some goals. So they got Newcastle away next, then away to Nottingham Forest, then Fulham, then Brighton, then Liverpool. Like, I just don't know where they're going to win enough games to get through and stay up. I would think they have to win today, but I don't know that they will.
Yeah, that's definitely their season on the line here. So,
well, it is what it is, right? We got to move. Are there any games tomorrow, guys, that are of interest?
Just Dortmund. Dortmund can go 4 clear, so I think that's pretty big.
But I wanted to check with you guys. We've talked about some soccer here, gave some baseball scores. Is there any interest from you boys in what's going on tonight, the NFL draft? Have you seen any movement in that direction on the lines?
Paul is a Packers fan. I don't know. I can't bet that because as somebody knows, it's if this team if the Panthers are half competent, they know who they're taking. So, I mean, it's crazy. I can't imagine it's not going to be Bryce Young, but
Rob Motti, who is the lead NFL writer for AP, I asked him, I texted him, and he said that they've actually even spoken to. I'm checking now about Carolina. They've actually even spoken to Bryce about a contract. So I mean, if you're in conversation with a guy about a contract and you haven't even drafted yet, I think there's a pretty good chance that that's where he's headed.
If they, Bill, I agree. I think the Celtics win, but they don't cover. If they had all this time and they take one of these other quarterbacks, the only other quarterback you could take, I think you could argue Stroud, but Young is the most talented, and doesn't really, none of these guys, I think, the guy coming out next year is by far the better quarterback, Caleb Williams. But it is, these
Because
guys,
of USC.
yeah, he's by far the guy's going to be an absolute superstar. But these guys, Bryce Young has the chance probably to be, the best. These other guys, Levis and Anthony Richardson and all of these other guys, like, I just don't know. I mean, teams get so desperate to take quarterbacks because you can't win without it. But if you pick the wrong one, you can't win for 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, you're almost better off taking Will Anderson or something like this. I mean, that's what Houston might do. Houston might take Will Anderson at 2 because he's the best player on the board, and then take Anthony Richardson at 12. So, or something like that, maybe, or,
I gotta say, look, I'm a Gators fan. I've been a long time Gators fan. I will not deny the phenomenal athleticism of Anthony Richardson, but they still went 6-6 last year with Anthony Richardson. So I have no clue where everybody is so geeked out about Anthony Richardson. Now, of course,
crazy stats and all these measurables and stuff, but I don't understand, measurables. Like, people get so worked up about this stuff.
he's got a 47-inch vertical jump. That's great if he's, pole vaulting. I don't get. I mean, look, again, no shade on Anthony. I hope he does well, but where he just didn't click as a quarterback in with the Gators, and he had some pretty decent offensive weapons. So I don't understand that one. That's a mystery to me on that one. They've got him on the in some boards they got him as the 3rd or the 4th best quarterback out of the whole group, and there's a lot of decent kids in that. I'd take that kid from Tennessee, and I can't remember his name.
Hendon Hooker.
Hooker, yeah. I would take him because the offense he was in was amazing. And, man, those guys just scored points like a pinball machine. So, I don't know. There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of good defense this year. I would a lot of good edge rushers. I'd be looking there. And my understanding, I saw a number of mock drafts having the Eagles taking a running back. So
Really?
Yeah, the Texas kid.
yeah,
Bijan Robinson.
yeah. How about the Pittsburgh Pirates are off to a great start? Bill, you're right. They are off to a great start.
It's about time. They've only drafted at the top of the draft for 10 years.
Right. Yeah. Kids are starting to pay off.
We should have 10 players in the majors that are, first-round draft picks. That just shows you how bad, baseball scouting is for some of these guys. I mean, it's hard to do. I mean, these guys don't make it. And, I think some of these scouts are not good enough.
Well, and do they put too much into analytics, or they don't put enough?
Well, I just think, half the scouts are, from an age that, that baseball's not that way now. I mean, baseball's moved on. It's not 1985 and stuff. So half the scouts are in this old style of thinking, and half of them are nerds that have never played baseball. Like, you got to have a little bit of a mix of both. Like, you can't have some, Yale astrophysicist never played a sport in his life is telling me this guy's going to be thing. Okay, I mean, maybe, but like, you got to there's a mix.
Well, so the eye test, right?
You have the other guy saying this guy's whatever without the analytics, because that's the way the game is. You have to have a mix of it. People don't they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Did enough when I was covering the Thunder. I mean, there's too many old school guys that don't want to change, and there's too many, there's too many of these other guys, and they're fighting in a thing. It's just not,
not helpful.
Yes.
Well, we had a couple of upsets that put us in the NBA playoffs. That we got Miami and the Knicks Who'd have picked that tandem?
Oh yeah, well I definitely
I had the
definitely like
Knicks.
the
I
Knicks.
didn't have Miami.
I don't think anybody had Miami. I don't think Spoelstra had Miami. It
You know,
was-
I'm almost starting to think that because the Heat when they went to the finals a few years ago, did they not beat the Bucks in the Eastern Conference
did.
Finals?
Mhm.
Yeah, or maybe it wasn't the Eastern Conference, but
It was the COVID year.
yeah.
Right.
So I'm really starting to think because really the teams haven't changed that much.
Right.
The Heat and the Bucks it's still Butler and Giannis plus
Right.
all the supporting guys. So I honestly after watching that series, I'm really starting to think they threw that game against Atlanta because they knew they matched up better against Milwaukee.
Hey, it wouldn't be the first time, and it won't be the last.
Yeah, I think they figured you could probably beat the Raptors or the Bulls, and so if we lose the first play-in game to the Hawks,
mhm.
we'll probably have a better shot beating the Bucks than the Celtics.
Right. Well, they match up better.
Yeah,
The
that's what it is.
last night, the Warriors and the Kings. That was a crazy game too. It's going to be like
Yeah, there's gonna be some low-scoring games, Bill. Just take
Yeah,
the unders now.
the
Defensive
70s,
clinics.
80s. Yeah.
It's
Here's
funny
the-
because that series is supposed to be 1-4, and we ended up getting 5-8.
Yeah. Miami and the Knicks definitely. That's going to be a rock fight. The first 1-85 probably wins those games. Those are like the Reggie versus Dwayne Wade games back in the day. So, yeah, Bill, that's going to be a fun situation. Some key games tonight also in the National Hockey League, so we'll have to pay attention to those too. But crazy stuff going on. Who would have thunk it? You get the draft on 3 channels. Hello NFL, and for tonight and tomorrow night. So, watching people walk up to a stage in suits in Kansas City. I don't know. I think if you don't have something better to do than watch the NFL draft, then my apologies to you in that regard. It's going to be a bit wild, but anyway.
Yeah, especially when teams use up their full 10 minutes, not like you don't know who you're gonna draft.
Well, yeah, they're going to go 15 minutes, knowing. I mean, they're going to go the 15 minutes, and on the 14th minute, they'll give the card to the guy. He'll walk up and he'll give it to the commissioner, and he'll read that. Yeah, the Carolina Panthers take Alabama quarterback Bryce.
Like you didn't know that. You had weeks to decide you're the number 1 pick, and you need those
Probably-
last 15
probably
minutes.
signs the contract 5 minutes before the thing even goes. So
Yeah.
not a surprise. So yeah, I will say that I expect that there'll probably be 3 or 4 trades in the first round.
Don't
I'm
even talk to me
thinking-
about trades.
Yeah, I'm thinking that New England, Tampa Bay, maybe Detroit's got a couple of picks in the first round. Maybe they draft and then use one of those picks and trade one of those picks. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of moving around just to get more draft choices. So we'll see how that works out. Aaron Rodgers was announced yesterday to the New York media, and he's going to wear his number 8 from his days at Cal, even though Joe Namath offered to allow him to wear 12, which was, of course, retired by the Jets. So he's not going to be number 12. He's going to be number 8, which is what he was with the Cal Bears. So those of you Aaron Rodgers fans out there, get ready. He's a coming. So
It shows you at least he has some respect.
yeah,
Could be a wonky guy, but at least he has some respect. He was
Yeah.
offered the number, and he said, "You know
Definitely.
what? I'll pass.
I'll take.
I don't want to taint that number 12 after I stink up the joint."
Right. And the first, I was looking at the draft for them, and pretty much all of it is going toward to offensive linemen and wide receivers. So that tells you something right off the get-go. A, we need to protect this guy, and B, we need to give him somebody to throw to. So we'll see if the Jets have learned anything from their past performances from the Jets. So interesting stuff coming up tonight. Any final thoughts, boys, before we let you get out of here so you can watch Man United play this afternoon?
Enjoy the games.
Just got to win today.
Okay.
Just don't lose.
Yeah, don't lose is a good thing.
The best motto for any team: don't lose.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. Well, boys, it's good to have you back, and we'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place. And everyone have a great day. We'll be right back tomorrow, 2:00 right here.